and welcome to the first episode of Mental Health Monday. Today I want to talk a little bit about imposter syndrome. But first, a disclaimer. The contents of this video and this channel are for informational purposes only. The content is not intended to be a substitute for professional advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Always seek the advice of your mental health professional or other qualified health provider with any questions you may have regarding your condition. Never disregard professional advice or delay in seeking it because of something you have read on the internet or seen in a video. If you are in crisis or you think you may have an emergency, call your doctor or 911 immediately. If you are having suicidal thoughts, you may contact the Suicide Prevention Lifeline at 1-800-273-TALK. That's 1-800-273-8255 to talk to a skilled, trained counselor at a crisis center in your area at any time. If you are located outside of the United States, call your local emergency line immediately. So today I want to talk a little bit about imposter syndrome. Tell me if you've ever experienced euphoria in the practice room. You're just nailing it. You're playing so well. You're super prepared. You're working on repertoire for an upcoming performance or audition. And it gets to the day before the performance and you feel ready. You feel like you've done all that you can do. You're the most prepared you've ever been. You go to sleep knowing that you've done the hard work and you are likely to succeed. And then you get to the performance or the audition, and things not only don't go the way you planned, but you completely bomb. You shake, you sweat, your mouth gets dry, you get tunnel vision. An array of symptoms develop that manifest from performance anxiety. And there's a lot of conversation about performance anxiety and things you can do to combat it. There's the recommended use of beta blockers to try and alleviate the symptoms of anxiety. But what concerns me about the talk about performance anxiety is nobody really talks about the underlying conditions that lead to performance anxiety. And by conditions, I mean anything from general anxiety disorders, personality disorders, trauma, and often when we were talking about dealing with performance anxiety, what we're really talking about is just how to apply a Band-Aid. And there isn't really a whole lot of information or guidance in regards to identifying the source of the performance anxiety and addressing that at its root cause. So my performance anxiety manifests in a number of ways, but through my journey, I've learned that I suffer from a form of thinking referred to as imposter syndrome. So the American Psychological Association loosely defines imposter syndrome as a feeling of unworthiness. You are unworthy of your position, you are unworthy of praise, unworthy of your degrees, your job, whatever. You just feel like no matter what situation you are in, you don't deserve to be there, and eventually somebody is going to find you out as a fraud. This affects me a lot in performance. In spite of the success that I have had, there's a huge part of me that believes I don't deserve it. I struggled very recently. An organization wanted to do a feature on me, and at first I was thrilled, and then I couldn't stop asking myself why. Why would they want to feature me? I haven't done anything to deserve this. And then as I started filming the video for the feature, all I could see in the video were flaws in what I played, in the way that I spoke, and the things that I said, and how the accomplishments that I listed did not, in my mind, meet the qualifications for being recognized by such an organization. I take these feelings into the audition with me. For me, overcoming performance anxiety is so much more than learning to deal with the symptoms. Most of the time, I don't even think I deserve to be there auditioning. And when I hear people say, oh, you need to abandon self-limiting thoughts, or you need to just be more confident, I really take issue with statements like that because everybody has a different story. Everybody is the way that they are for the reasons of their life. And to say that you should have more confidence. Oh, just be more confident. Play more confidently. What does that mean if a person doesn't know what confidence feels like? What does that mean if a person suffered abuse where they never developed the feelings of confidence? What does that mean for somebody who has an anxiety disorder or a personality disorder who is constantly questioning who they are and where they fit in the world? Telling someone to just be more confident or to, oh, just prepare more, to work harder. Um, and the worst, maybe you're not good enough. Maybe you're not working hard enough. Um, I think as educators, saying these things to students who struggle with performance anxiety is really irresponsible. I think students should really be encouraged to seek out the mental health resources provided by their schools so that they can identify the reason why they have performance anxiety. It's not just because a fear of failure is such a shallow generalization of the extremely complex manifestations of performance anxiety. Yes, I fear failure, but why do I feel failure? Yes, I fear. I'm really washed out. Well, this is the life I chose, so I'm just flashback Mary right now. Um, I'll just I'll fix it for next time. At least it kind of matches, right? I'm a little ghosty. Um, sorry. Yes, I fear failure, but why do I fear failure? What does failure mean? What does success mean? Before I took the job in Mexico, I had a conversation with a teacher of mine about all of the things that I thought could go wrong. And he stopped me and he said, "Why are you only thinking about the things that could go wrong?" And I said, "Because there are so many of them, and this is a huge risk that I'm taking, that we are taking, my husband and I, to move to Mexico. And if something goes, we can't afford for anything to go wrong. So I really have to analyze the, um, I really have to analyze it from every angle." And he said, "Have you considered what it would be like if everything went right?" And I sat back and I thought, it would be amazing. It would be incredible. This is an amazing opportunity in a beautiful city, in a beautiful country, with a beautiful orchestra and a beautiful hall, with wonderful musicians. Um, some of the best musicians I've ever met in my life. Succeeding is perhaps the most scary to me because once I'm there, once I've achieved and once I've succeeded, I don't feel like I belong there. So a lot of times I walk into an audition hoping not to get through because that would mean I would have to prove myself every day, again and again. And that is something that terrifies me. I'm afraid that I'll win the job and that I'll get there and sitting in the middle of all of these world class talented colleagues and not belong and be humiliated and let the section down, let the orchestra down, let my husband down, let my family down. And as I've gone through my journey of therapy, I have learned, and as I've gone through my journey, I've learned so much about myself. Recently, I was diagnosed with obsessive compulsive disorder. Unbeknownst to me, it's not always checking to see if you've locked the door or turning the light switches on and off. Obsessive compulsive disorder can manifest in many ways, and apparently, I have um, a very characteristic way of manifestation. I have repetitive thoughts, really negative thoughts about myself, about my worth, um, and I get extremely triggered when things don't go the way that I had planned them to go. So this is um, auditions for me are just like an avalanche of anxiety because I don't feel like I deserve to be there. I don't feel like I deserve to win the job if I do win the job. Um, but I always go in intending to win the job, and when I don't win the job, and so it's just far too simple to tell someone who is struggling in auditions or struggling in performances. You can't just say to them, "Oh, just be more confident," or worse, calling them lazy. I don't believe in lazy. I don't believe anybody just wants to do nothing. I think laziness is a symptom of some underlying anxiety or depression, or because what do we associate with laziness? We associate unmotivated, basically. And what are the reasons people are unmotivated? Well, do they not believe in themselves? Do they not believe they're capable? Do they not believe that they deserve success? Can they get out of bed? Are they isolating themselves from their friends, their family, the people they love? And to just call someone lazy, oh, you're not advancing in auditions because you're lazy, you don't work hard enough. I don't believe that's true. And I think we all owe it to ourselves to do some really deep exploration and figure out why we have the issues that we do. I think that's the most meaningful use of our time, is understanding ourselves more deeply so that we can release limitations on ourselves, so that we can go out into the world and achieve and share and be present without worry of the future or outcomes or praise or criticism. We owe it to ourselves to find the ability to just enjoy our lives. And whatever that means for a career in music, or just having a life, I don't think it's healthy for anybody to do something they don't enjoy. For what? To prove what? To who? I don't think the only meaningful way to be a musician is to get paid to do it. I don't think the only meaningful way to be a musician is to play in a top 5 orchestra. I don't think the only meaningful way to be a musician is to be a world-class soloist. I think we do music for reasons that are deeper and a bit more sacred. And I think if we were allowed to just do that, I think our culture as musicians would be so much more kind, not only to one another, but we would be encouraged to be more kind to ourselves. So if any of this resonates with you, or you struggle with performance anxiety, or you feel like an imposter or a fraud, I would highly encourage doing some soul searching, reaching out and talking to a professional mental health provider, whether it's a counselor, a therapist, psychologist, psychiatrist. I didn't mean for that to rhyme. I guess it kind of did. We deserve to understand ourselves more deeply. We deserve to free ourselves from our limitations. We deserve to live a happy life, free from others' expectations, because this is all the time we have here. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. We're going to be talking about some tough stuff, but I promise it's not going to be all doom and gloom. For the format of these episodes, once we get rolling, it's my intention to bring on guests to talk about their experiences. I want to highlight some books that I have found useful, and I just want to share my story. And I want to encourage you to share yours too, because you are valid, you are worthy, you deserve this. And I wish you all the love and happiness, and I will see you next Monday.